What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. As you will see in the title and the thumbnail, we got some major upgrades happening to both of our 350z's. I actually just pulled up here to Miguel's house and we are getting his Z up on some stands because what we're going to be doing is finally upgrading his axle and hub setup to those of a 370Z G37. So, you know, there is a video on the channel instructing you guys on how to do this. So we are going to try to go into some instructions, but we may not cover everything. But we also are going to be upgrading the studs on the hub. As you can see over here, Miguel actually already did one, and then we'll show you the whole process on how to do this. But yeah, he's going to be getting 370Z hubs, 370Z axles, ARP extended studs, and hopefully that's going to be able to prevent him from breaking axles at the track, because as you guys have seen in our videos, even with my car, those 350Z axles, if you're really trying to launch them hard, man, on a radial, they will either work or it won't, and most times they don't. So yep, we're gonna get the car up on stands, get everything set up, probably do a couple time lapses and go into the details on how to do this swap. But we obviously have seen with my car that it is worth doing. So yeah, let's get it. All right guys, so our first order of business that we're going to be doing today is we are going to be removing the old studs. Obviously some of these are already out because when we were taking them off, whatever, we just knocked them out, and he has one here installed. So we'll give you a quick instruction on how to do it. So really you just hammer the stud out. Well, that's easy as that. So then when you get the new stud over here, you just slide it through, and obviously there's splines in the back. So you're gonna want either, what is it, some washers and stuff like that to...
we have an open-ended lug nut, so that's what makes this easier.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you don't have an open-ended lug nut, what you might need to use is like just a bunch of washers or something like that to be able to tighten it. Because obviously tightening it down, what it does is it brings the lug into the hub and it makes the splines sit in the hub perfectly. All right, so as you guys see, we use the socket, and then there's a little washer under here as well. We don't necessarily need to because we have an open-ended lug nut, but it just makes things a little bit easier. Instead of having to bring that lug nut all the way down, you know, use a washer or something to space it out while you tighten. So here we go.
See that.
So now once you loosen it and take everything apart, now the stud is going to stay into the hub perfectly. Remove the washers, boom. So it's easy as that. It's nothing, you know, it's not rocket science, but definitely a good mod. Way more beneficial. Now you can run spacers without having to use, you know, those bolt-on spacers or anything like that. So yeah, let's get it. I'm gonna set you guys up on a time lapse and we're gonna bang out the rest of the hubs. All right guys, so there you have it. We got the ARP extended studs all installed on the rear hubs. So now we're gonna just obviously start disassembling the car, getting the wheels off, getting, you know, everything we need off in order to install these and the axles, and then go from there. Troy Savage. All right, guys, so as you saw in the time lapse, we got the old axles out, we got the old hubs out. Really simple. Obviously, you got your axle nut, your 6 axle bolts that hold it to the diff, and then once that's out, you have the 4 bolts behind the hub for the wheel bearing slash hub. So yeah, we got that all out. Miguel's just prepping. We're gonna put some grease. Obviously, in my video, I didn't put grease. You can tell.
Well, anti-seize.
Well, whatever. You can tell who cares more. But yeah, we got that all set up. So now it's reinstalling everything.
So I'm gonna put some anti-seize on it. These came out pretty easy, but I've had them that they're very hard to come off, just because of rust and all that shit.
Not very good. Picasso. All right, guys, so we got the rotors and calipers back on. We were about to go sit here and throw on the axles, but we both sat and talked about it, and Miguel actually had a part out G37 that he had, and obviously it was a manual car, so it has the same 3.69/3.7 gear ratio diff that he has in the car right now. However, you see these nice poly diff bushings that were in it, so obviously we're here, you know, we're not far from just getting his diff out, so we're just gonna slap this diff in. It is a true 3.7, 3.69, whatever you want to call it. It's got Z1 poly bushings, and obviously we have the axles out, we have the exhaust moved over to the side, so this should be easy to just pop in. And yeah, I think these 2 bushings, obviously
With my brace,
with a diff brace, would really do well. Obviously we're not about to sit here and do the subframe bushing, but at least you'll have those 2 upgraded and the diff bushing and the diff brace. So I think it'll at least be a big difference. And this is really just saving him time, because these bushings aren't expensive, but doing these bushings are a pain in the ass. So when it comes down to it, to maybe do the subframe one, all we have to do is just 1 bushing, not 3. So yeah, but we're gonna slap this in the car, get everything back together, and we'll set you guys up on a time lapse. Guys, so we got the old diff out. I really wouldn't call it old, but you know what I'm saying. So we got that out, easy peasy. Now we're gonna slap a new one in with the bushings and just get everything back up, bolt up the drive shaft, bolt up the axles, and then smooth sailing. White Claw, sponsor us, bro, please. All right, guys. So as you can see, we got everything buttoned up. ARP extended studs. We got the 370Z axle and hub upgrade installed as well. And then we did throw that differential in with the Z1 poly diff bushings. So the car should feel really, really good, and we should be able to see these improvements at the track. So we're gonna slap the wheels on and then go take it for a little test hit and see how everything holds up.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I sold my 10.5 RPF ones fronts. I kind of curved them last time I was loading on the trailer, so I found an opportunity. I've always wanted to get 9.5 fronts instead of 10.5s with a smaller tire to try to gain a little mile an hour on the quarter mile. So we're gonna go to our boy Sean's shop. We got some 9.5 with some brand new tires I'm gonna throw on the front. Hopefully that can help a little bit. I'm going pretty much from a 10.5 with a 255/40 to a 9.5 with a 225/45. So the height is still going to be the same, but it's going to be significantly smaller tires. So hopefully that we'll see some improvement with that. Alrighty, guys, we made it to Sean's shop. He's loading up. Like I said before, I'm going with a 9.5 and a 225. So it's about I'd say maybe a pound of rotational weight on just the wheel, and about an inch of tire less on the floor. So we'll see how it goes the next track day. Well, we got one done. It balanced amazing. I mean, obviously everything's brand new, but this one's kind of becoming a mission. It looks like the tire's a little thinner or something, like maybe there was some weight on it when on storage and it's just not catching. It is, like we said, a little stretched, and it's just because I want that smaller tire patch on the floor, but we'll give it a shot now and see what she does. All right, guys, back home. It was a mission, but we got it done. I guess one of the tires probably was maybe at the bottom of the stack or something, and it was a little flatter, I guess, or skinnier, and it wasn't budging, but we got it done. Now let's see how she fits. All right, so because it's a 9.5 with a 225 way smaller tire, I do have extended studs in the front, and I've had a 15mm spacer just laying around forever, just like the slip-on spacers, not the stud spacers, which are way safer than the stud spacers because they just slip on just to push out the wheel a little bit. So I didn't want that sunken look with the 9.5 and the 225, so I put the 15mm spacer on to kind of give the difference that I was losing on fitment with a 10.5 and a 255, and honestly I think it worked out perfect. So it looks pretty much the same if I were to say, and a way smaller tire, about 1 inch of patch on the floor less on each side, and then probably about a pound and a half of rotational mass from just the wheel, not the tire being smaller. I'm not sure how much weight savings there is on the tire, but on the wheel it's about a pound and a half. So that's kind of why I did it. I've always wanted to do this, but I don't want to dish out the cash. But since I curbed one of the wheels, I just sold them and got these, and I think I'm pretty happy with the outcome.
All Alrighty guys, well, as you saw in the thumbnail, I did pick up a full set of slicks for my Z. The radio was working great, but it was just about that time to finally go ahead and upgrade and see if I can get a better time with a full slick. So these are the Hoosiers, whatever you want to call them, QuickTime Pros. They are 26 by 11.5, 15. So I did the calculation on this app that we use, and pretty much it's the same tire size as my radio on this tire, or on this wheel. So it really shouldn't be changing much in the sense of gearing, or you know, how many shifts or whatever it may be down the quarter mile. So this is pretty much a direct replacement for my size tire that I have now. So I'm really hoping that they work, because it's just about that time for this car to get a full set of slick. The drivetrain has taken so much abuse with these radials. So yeah, so let's get it. Hopefully the next track day is a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe as always. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.